Let me tell you, it was a bit of a task to find a picture of Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, without him having shades on. And I mean, he wears those dark black shades. In most of his pictures, like, it was really hard finding a photo without him with shades on. If you know what those dark shades mean, I notice a lot of these rappers, celebrities, they wear very dark shades to cover their eyes. And there is a saying, the eyes are a window to the soul. And this is very true. You can tell a lot about a person's eyes. But I wouldn't solely depend on looking at a person's eyes to determine what kind of person they are, because you got some very deceptive people out in the world, and you kind of have to have a way of reading people to determine the spirit that they have, and that can be either an evil spirit or a Holy Spirit. But I'm covering a little bit of what the media has been dominating in the headlines about Sean Combs P. Diddy. As you may already know, that he has been arrested in the state of New York City. I believe he was arrested Monday, earlier this week. What was Monday? Monday was September 16, 2024. But he's been denied bail. I believe he requested bail twice, and the judge has denied bail for P. Diddy because she believes that he is a flight risk, meaning that he will probably try to take off and leave the country where he can't be arrested and detained. So he was not given any bail. And I heard the bail was in the millions. And they still denied it. So this is pretty serious. It is the federal court system. I think the paperwork was saying the United States of America against Sean Combs, or versus Sean Combs rather. So he has been arrested, and the federal crimes that he's committed, they were saying they were like 3 different crimes. I believe trafficking, sex trafficking, and then racketeering, and the third one was kidnapping. And within all of that, in the paperwork, it's quite a bit of extremely illegal crimes that Sean Combs allegedly has committed. Of course, he is in jail in New York without bond, and he has to go to court. And once they finish the whole process of him being in court, it'll be determined if he's guilty or non-guilty. His attorney that's representing him is saying that Sean Combs pleads not guilty, of course. I understand there's several cases that have been filed against Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, and it's been from years ago. Like, I think they said since 2008 is the earliest time when he's been cited as being someone who has committed these crimes against other people. And I was listening to a lot of the news break stories and just wanted to get some information before I discussed it, because I wanted to make sure I heard everything when I could. And these are very serious crimes, federal crimes. And I think the earliest, I think the shortest time that if Sean Combs is found guilty, the shortest time that he would spend in prison would be a minimum of 10 years, and the maximum is life sentence. Now, I understand Sean Combs is in his 50s. I think don't quote me on it, I think he's in his 50s, like 54 or something of that nature. So this man is a middle-aged man, fully grown. He knows right from wrong, and he thought he was unstoppable because one of his favorite sayings was, "I thought I told you that we won't stop." Well, I'm sure he meant everything that he said, because he definitely wasn't stopping. They had to stop him, so he was arrested. And I will say that you are innocent until proven guilty. However, we're not talking about any juvenile crime, any petty crime. We're talking about, this is on the federal level. And his homes, I think he had 2 homes that were raided, and they found some very solid evidence, and they had a warrant out for his arrest, and he was arrested this week. So he was denied bail, so he is in the New York State jail until his court date is assigned to him. And I understand his court date could take some time because they have a lot of different cases above his, in front of his. And then also they're still accruing information and setting up the whole process of doing his specific case. And I was hearing that it could take months, even up to a year or 2 years, before they even have his first court case. So that means Sean Combs will be in jail up to possibly 2 years before they even see him in court. Well, I don't know about you, but Sean Combs has been a music mogul. The man has been around for a while, and he's a producer, he's a performer, an artist, a record executive. He has his own record label, Bad Boys. I think it's called Bad Boy Entertainment, but turns out he was using his own record label to conduct all of these illegal crimes against people. And this is not something that happens every day. This is a very big scale, unusual case for a black man who is a celebrity to be arrested for. So this is pretty huge. Sean Combs is a billionaire. So that's another situation which is very unique to this case. He's a black man. He is a celebrity. He's had a very long-term career, successful career, worked with some of the most famous musical artists in the world. And took it upon himself to not just be a giant in the music industry, but to be a giant bully. Sean Combs is the example of when a man misuses his power and his influence. for selfish gain. He allegedly has hurt many people. And I'm going to talk about what obviously most people have been wanting to find out about Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy. The public has seemed to be obsessed with this man's sexuality. They want to know if P. Diddy is a homosexual man. And when people focus on a person's sexuality not being heterosexual, they usually like to use their sexual orientation as a homosexual or a bisexual against them. And they tend to like to think that that is the culprit of his issues, which have migrated from the music industry. Now, this is the general public who has this attitude. As far as news outlets and the federal judge and the New York State District Attorney, they could care less about Sean Combs' sexual orientation. Their focus is in the right area. They want to know, is this man harming other people? Is he involved in SA? Is he involved in all of these illegal federal crimes? Well, they found enough evidence to arrest him. Now, when court is in session, eventually he will be proven innocent or guilty. So we'll find that out. But I definitely have to make sure that I also discuss the elephant in the room, where everybody is focused on P. Diddy's sexuality. They assume that this man is caught up in all of these sexual, illustrious, barbaric activities simply because they assume that he is a homosexual. For months, even years, honestly, if you've been tuned into social media, you've probably heard about all of the rumors about P. Diddy's sexuality. One of the latest rumors that's gone rampant is them allegedly hearing audio of P. Diddy having a sexual encounter with another very famous rapper, Meek Mills. And I stress allegedly because this was audio content and we really don't know if that was them involved. But the public likes to focus on what he's doing in the bedroom with another person. But it's very strange how they focus on how they're despising the sexual indiscretions because homosexuality is involved. Never thinking about, is someone being coerced and forced? Is SA going on? Is rape going on? Is kidnapping going on? Are they being forced to take illegal substances so that they are not able to function and protect themselves, and they're being attacked physically and sexually by an intruder? Are people being harmed? Are people's lives being taken? That's what really the problem is. Not the person's sexuality and sexual orientation. That should be the least focus or concern that you have. But since Sean Combs, or P. Diddy, however you like to call his name, he accepts all of the names. His sexual orientation is really none of our business. But what becomes our business is if he actually is involved in sex trafficking. Because we can see or read the court documents. And this is very horrible to know that so many people have been violated and silenced and have to live in constant fear of their lives because of someone who uses his power against them for his own selfish gain. If Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, is guilty of all of these charges, he is a monster. And his sexual orientation is of no concern to me. I care about not just the people who have been violated, but they have family members and friends and loved ones who are also impacted by what Sean Combs allegedly has done to their family members or their friends. Because all of these people are affected by the alleged crimes. Now, there was a video I did watch covering this groundbreaking story about Sean Combs being arrested for these federal crimes, and the person, the commentator that was reading the court documents, I think they said it's over 21 pages or whatnot. I think TMZ reported it, and I saw some of the correspondence, but there is a section in it where it mentions how all of the civil lawsuits that have been filed against P. Diddy were by women who claimed that they were enticed to be in a romantic relationship with P. Diddy, which ultimately led to them being essayed, kidnapped, forced to take illegal substances. And also, he would alter their physical appearance in public so they wouldn't be recognized. For example, if he physically harmed them, he would keep them allegedly hidden in hotels for days, weeks on end until they healed. But if they were out in public, I guess if they just for some reason had to go out in public and they didn't want to be, well, he didn't want to take the risk of them being recognized, and if they had any type of physical proof of showing that they have been physically attacked, he would alter their appearance. I don't know whether it was by clothes or makeup, who knows, but there's a lot of details in the court documents that you can actually read, and it's really insane. It's diabolical. The extreme ways that this man has involved himself in to harm other individuals. This has nothing to do with music. This has nothing to do with talent. This has nothing to do with money or fame. It has everything to do with the heart of this person, the spirit of this person. Now, of course, these different elements influence a person's behavior. For example, money. Actually, there's nothing at all wrong with money. Money is good. But biblically, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. So money is not evil, but to love it, to worship it, that is the root of all evil. So all forms of evil, like all of these alleged crimes that P. Diddy is being arrested for, that's all forms of evil. And this man is a billionaire. I believe when Cassie in November of 2023 filed her lawsuit against Sean Combs, that was the pinnacle of why he is arrested now. And I'm glad that she found the courage and the strength to do so. It took her years, but you can't imagine the mental stress and level of pressure that this woman has undergone by being under the manipulation and the control and the mistreatment of Sean Combs for years. And yes, you can say, well, she had a choice. Well, everybody has a choice. But there's some things that you do not choose. You don't know if somebody is going to SAU. You don't really know what's going on in a person's mind until after it happens. And you don't know how this will mentally, emotionally, and psychologically and spiritually affect you as a person. It could impact you so much that it can be debilitating. There's some people who don't come out of this in their right mind. So for Cassie to be able to make it through all of that, that was really a blessing. And I'm glad that she filed the lawsuit against Sean Combs. And she won within less than 24 hours, I understand. I think he paid her off, I believe they said $40 million. And at the time, everybody was like really shocked and they couldn't believe how quickly the settlement happened. But Sean Combs chose to settle instead of go to court. And some people said, well, that just proves that he's guilty of what she filed against him in that lawsuit. And you could say absolutely yes. But at the same time, because the court case did not pan out, some people could say, well, since there was no court case which proved him being guilty of what he was filed under the lawsuit with Cassie, it's been not proven in the court of law. We don't know if he's guilty or not. Well, he has been arrested, and this is viewed as federal crime. So at this point, we know they have some very strong evidence. They're not going to raid your home, have a warrant out for your arrest, and deny you bail twice if they don't have some very solid proof on you. But of course, Every person has to be given the right to go through the process of court, and he will be given that right. And you are innocent until proven guilty. But there have been people who said, well, oh, these women want money. Why are they just speaking up now? Well, people can use money to control people. And really, you have to consider that if a person has been mistreated on every level imaginable, essay, kidnapping, forced to take illegal drugs, physical mistreatment in every form or thought process that you can imagine it being done to you. If you are in that position and you made it out of it, you made it out of it by the thin hair on your head, I would think that you want to be financially compensated for the rest of your life after going through that. Because for one, if you file a lawsuit against someone, that costs money. You have to pay court fees and whatnot, and you have to show up in court. So if you're an average person, or even if you are a celebrity, it takes time out of your day to show up in court. It's time and money involved when you're going to court against someone who has violated you. And it can be a long process. So you need money, and you need money to be able to take care of your mental health. Anybody who has gone through what Sean Combs allegedly has put these people through, they're going to need professional counseling and professional life coaching, probably for the rest of their lives. And that costs money. And then if you read the documents, it said that Sean Combs allegedly would threaten their finances, meaning they actually worked for him. So these were people that worked within his company, whether they were artists that he signed or just people who had different positions within his organization. He threatened them financially. He controlled them financially. So these are people who were looking at, well, I can't earn a living. So of course, maybe they were quiet because they wanted to be able to live. You can't really live at all without having some sort of income. And it wasn't like they were just working for free. No, they worked. They were employees. And even in the documents, it was saying allegedly that there was forced labor. So these people have gone through some extreme mistreatment under the hands of Sean Combs, allegedly. So when you speak up for yourself and you get out of that situation, that madness, when you're dealing with someone who's has such a diabolical mindset as Sean Combs allegedly has, he can control a lot of people, and he can blackmail you, and he can prevent you from getting another job. Like, you won't ever be able to find work again. So you're pretty much homeless. So I 100% believe that, yes, every woman who filed a lawsuit against him, if Sean Combs violated them in that manner, yes, they absolutely deserve every financial dollar, cent, penny that they can get in their hands. Because guess what? They've gone without, and they need to be fully compensated. So I was 100% happy that Cassie got her $40 million. And I heard that she got more than that. And keep in mind, this woman is married and she has her own children now. She has a life that she deserves to live. She deserves to live her life. So anybody that sits up and says, oh, these women want money, if you are not in their shoes, don't speak such nonsense about them. Until you've gone through what they've gone through, don't ever say that they're just doing it for money. Now, there's people who are claiming that, oh, because Sean Combs is in the music industry, this is why he's a maniac. Because they say the music industry is full of satanic homosexuals. And let me just say this. Regarding a person's sexual orientation, whether they're gay or bisexual, lesbian, whatever your sexual orientation is, if it is not heterosexual, and you're claiming that because they're not heterosexual, that's why they worship the devil and that's why they're Satan's hangout buddies, or whatever you want to call them, you're basically going too far. Many of you claim that a person's sexual orientation, being homosexual, is the culprit of their sin. And I've seen it, heard it so many times, where these social media podcasters or influencers, and they do they'll do these reviews of different celebrities, like, for example, Sean Combs, P. Diddy. And one of the things that they're called reaction videos. I actually did a video discussing this. But they'll always say, oh, he's gay. They're gay. He's gay. He's gay. He sold his soul to the devil. You always equate homosexuality with selling their soul to the devil. Well, you or nobody else knows where a person's soul is going to go. And you have no right to put them in hell because you think they're abominations since they're homosexual. Your focus is in the wrong area. You need to be focused on who is being harmed and how can we protect these people? How can we keep people protected in the future from monsters who are abusing people because they have celebrity status, because they're rappers, because they're famous, because they have money, because maybe they're attractive? What can we do to harness this? How can we prevent someone from being in the music industry for over 30 years and just taking over people's lives, destroying their lives? People who just want to use their talents and skills to make other people happy. But their life ends up turning upside down because the people who should be their leaders are actually their monster. Well, P. Diddy is behind bars. And I salute the judge of New York City. And it's interesting because I believe she's a black woman. So this should be interesting. I know they're not going to televise the court case, but we'll hear about the results. And I don't think she's going to play around with Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, at all. And it just proves to you that you are not above the law. I don't care who you are. You're not above the law. Not your celebrity. I don't care how good looking you are. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how talented you are. When you do the crime, you do the time. And that's why P. Diddy is behind bars. And we'll see. We'll see. Now he will have to go to court. Now we will find out the truth eventually. I think we can all learn from Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy. We can learn from what he has done. And we can learn to have better lives. I am Giselle Wallace. I'm a certified gay life coach and author. Thank you for listening. Be safe. Be loving. Be kind. And take care of yourself.